And how fitting is that? I couldn't call it either. The fact that you guys are 50-50 on the desk and in the chat just shows how smart you are. Are Cringe Society going to be able to keep up the form though?
Oh, what has just happened? I need to say, I thought I was just going to, as I said, 4-0-4-0. Let's just, have a little bit of toast, have a cup of tea, and then I'll head back to bed early morning. But here we are, one series away. Cringe Society from taking all the cash in the world. And hang on, what?
Torsos was very confused. I think we all are. That is not the way Cringe Society wanted to keep up their momentum. So a bit of a strange one, but we'll keep going like that didn't happen.
Yeah, it's just an odd miss. I think it was from Drippy, and both of his teammates were pushing up. So really, really surprising to see, and maybe exactly what Ground Zero needed at the start of this second series.
I mean, I was just on my way to some, heroic motivational speech to Cringe Society about how they've, defied the odds and just got to walk away with this one, and then that happens. So interesting start here for the series, but perhaps, a goal like that might just be what Ground Zero needs. The desk is flipped on them, but they're too good of a team to ride off after one bad series. So, anything's possible from there.
Yeah, you can already see them pushing a lot more aggressive, looking like they really want to win this series. And that's really what I'm expecting from them. I think these guys do play their best. They really do kind of wake up. We've seen them come back in those loser bracket best of sevens. So I'm expecting them to come out really strong here.
What a save by Deca, but it's not enough. Oh, Torsos gets the double, and he read this crossbar bounce to perfection as well.
Yeah, brilliant recovery there after an awesome save. I mean, the fact that he saved that with Ampher still having his flip there on the air dribble is crazy, but that is the Ground Zero offense. That's what we expect from them. Even if you save that first incredible shot, the second one is going to be coming as well. Great little double off the ground there from Tors, and that's what we need to see, Jake, from Ground Zero. We perhaps saw it once last series where there was that flip reset pre-jump pass to Express, but outside of that, we just didn't see enough firepower from Ground Zero at all. And I mean, it's like they just weren't really trusting each other offensively to work on those crazy plays.
Yeah, like you're saying, we did see it at the start of last series, so I think for Ground Zero, it's more so can they keep it up, and you can see in this game that they're really looking to bring back that aggressive style and punish Cringe Society for these mistakes.
And Cringe Society, in my opinion, have been the most consistent team. Maybe not consistently the best, that's obviously Ground Zero, but in terms of their performances, they've always held a level. The reason they got here is because they'd always go 3-0 in the Swiss stage and make sure that they were top seed going into the next stage, and that's how they got their points. But that doesn't work well when you have a team like this who can step up to that next level, and Ground Zero have always been able to step it up.
I mean, this is just, it's probably what we expected from the first series. So if we forget about the first series happening, this is looking on track. But the fact that, Cringe Society, hang on. Okay, well, I'm not too sure what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen, but that might be gold. There's enough time here, Jake. There's 3 minutes left. There's enough time. There's a miscommunication there coming out. Torsos not quite reading what Amphis was doing on the ball. 2 goals. It's doable.
There's been a few silly goals in this game. You can see both teams laughing at that one. Torsos realizing the mistake he made as soon as he did it. But you're right, CJ. It feels like this game should be almost over, but there's still 3 minutes left for Cringe Society to make a comeback.
I mean, that's been the biggest problem for me with Ground Zero is the fact that they have played so aggressively front post in defense. There's so many balls have gone behind them, and cost them incredibly hard in that one, but it may not cost them in the game as Amphis will get the 3-goal lead back.
Tors with 0 boosts here, still able to get the flick over the top of Decker. That is the power of the dominance, ladies and gentlemen. Amphis with the speed, just outpacing Jules, and that might be the nail in the coffin here in game number 1.
Honestly, something's going on with Cringe Society, though. They're not backing each other up as well as they normally did. Last series, they were so good at just shutting out Ground Zero, even if Ground Zero did beat a player with those mechanics. But this series, maybe a bit of overconfidence shifting the other way now.
It may have even been that first miss getting to them, so the trust breaking down after a little bit of a mistake, and you see it once again, a double commit in defense, the last player not really sure where to go, and then a miss, opening it up for Amphis.
And I mean, what you don't want to see here from Cringe's side is yes, they do have the one series under their belt, but you just can't give a side like Ground Zero any momentum, because even if they do perhaps take this series, I mean, the momentum that Ground Zero will have coming into that third series is going to be insane. So I think Cringe really need to look to put a stop to this, and Drippe, he's trying to do exactly that.
Well, we saw Drippe, he was pretty quiet at the start of last series and made a really big difference once he started getting goals on the board. So he's the one, like we've been saying all day, we want to watch him, we want to see him forward, and we want to see him getting those goals.
I love how he's up to that ball so quickly and piles the pressure on Amphis, and yet still takes his time with the actual shot so that he can get the right angle. And that's part of the reason that Drippe's always been so accurate.
Yeah, look, you know, we've talked about it all the previous series, really, with his striking firepower. He's really been, you know, back to his old self in a way, and perhaps it's not his old self, Jake. Perhaps it's just these pressure situations, you know, when the stakes are their highest, when the money's at the highest, particularly in the OCE region. That's when you see the caliber of a player like Drippe step up.
No, I'm expecting that from Drippe and Torsos. Just in the past, they've always been like that. They've always played their best when their back is against the wall, when they are, you know, they need to perform. And it's going to be really exciting seeing them on opposite ends of the pitch and how that, you know, comes against each other.
Well, it's funny because a lot of people, I think internationally based off RLCS lands, consider Torsos a player who crumbles under pressure, but he's the exact opposite in OCE. When he's in these matches, and there's a reason he's been to every single Worlds.
Oh, and Express gets the 6th goal on the board. And I don't have the stats in my head, but I don't think Ground Zero scored too many goals in that first series. So to get 6 on the board here in game number 1 is crazy for them. And I'm not sure what Jibber did, or if he just, you know, gave them a few energy drinks in this break, but they have woken up here.
I think, honestly, every goal that goes in, it's almost like a sigh of relief is coming over Ground Zero. I think they're finally playing how they want to play, and, you know, that first series really just wasn't what they wanted to do at all. Maybe the lack of practice, maybe the pressure getting to them, but now it really feels like they're stepping up and back to their old selves.
It's interesting to see if they can get a 7th goal, but weren't able to push it through, as right now, this is just going to be dead time. With 30 seconds left, Ground Zero have well and truly done this. And it's great to see them be able to pick it up like we've seen them before, absolutely taking control. And this time, with that control, with that possession, much more powerful in the offense.
100%. It is great to see that Ground Zero have shown up here in this match, because although it would have been great to see, you know, Cringe Society just walk away with it, we just didn't see the firepower in the first series that Ground Zero are known for. So now, ladies and gentlemen, watching him at home, we might have a true game on our hands, because I think Ground Zero are playing at their best, and now it's up to Cringe Society to see if they can come back and match it.
Yeah, it really wasn't what we were expecting that first series, especially from Torsos, like we were saying, very quiet. Even Express not being as involved in the offense as we normally see them. It looks like things are running really smoothly with whatever they talked about in that break between the series.
Still very interesting, because at the very beginning of the last series, Ground Zero looked really strong in that one as well. We're getting some awesome goals, got a couple of very convincing game wins, maybe not as convincing as this one. But then over time, Cringe Society did bring that power back through the series. So there's still plenty of opportunity for them to adapt and bring that forward in game number 2.
Just, you know, you couldn't ask for a better game number 1 here from Ground Zero. After coming off a pretty poor series, they had the 10-15 minute break here, and you know, they came out swinging. 7 goals is nothing to sneeze at. And I know, Jake, you alluded to it earlier. That first goal was just so weird. There was a missed touch, and then Drip, I believe, missed it off the wall. It just... It set up the rest of the game for me. So perhaps Cringe Society, they take that same mindset into it, and they think, you know, well, you know, that was just an anomaly. Let's reset. Let's go again. You know, we had them in the first series, but this is a different Ground Zero team for mine.
Yeah, I think Cringe Society should be able to recover throughout the series. You can see they don't have a coach with them in these timeouts, so that might be to their detriment, but they really had no control over that last game, and I think they will be able to get that back and get it to a more competitive kind of scoreline.
It's still often easier to actually take a big loss and kind of be able to understand that what you were doing was completely off kilter than sometimes those really tight 1-goal losses. You can not recognize the mistakes that you're making. You're thinking it's fine, but I guess it's not fine at all. They haven't made the adaptation. Express getting an early goal.
It is not fine at all here. Express beating Drip. Decker, he's caught front post. Jules not rotating back yet. And that's Torsos just capitalizing there. Just an open net, opening it up. And again, we just see an early goal coming out on Ground Zero's side. Huge for their confidence after a rough first series. But Cringe Society, you have to start getting worried for the remainder of this series and perhaps the whole match.
Again,
just played with Decker before, so he's understanding where that touch is going to go.
Yeah, just slow rotations again coming out of Cringe Society, just not able to back each other up. And you can see how hyped Ground Zero are with every goal they're getting because, like we said, they're best when their backs are against the wall.
Chance here, though, for Amphis, and you look at the dribble. He's going for the pass, actually. I thought Torsos was too far away to receive it, but you can still see the Ground Zero looking for the team plays. They've got an opportunity again, but this time Decker plays it so consistently from behind the ball, really crunches it out to the other end.
Oh, opportunity here. Drip doesn't get it on target. That's going to be a goal anyway. Don't worry about it. Jules, this is all on you, my man. What a great little second touch over the top of Express, beating two defenders. Amphis couldn't get it, beating all defenders, really. Ground Zero had no answer there to the air dribble touch off the backboard from Jules, and they do get the equalizer.
And you can see Ground Zero, again, kind of just flailing in defense, not respecting those mechanics coming out of Cringe Society, but what I like to see is that they're laughing it off in the cameras. I think that they're not going to want to make a habit out of getting styled on like that out of Jules.
Strong defense once again from Decker, and he's the man I'm usually looking for in the third man role. I think Jules has been doing a bit too much of it for Cringe Society in this game, and Decker starting to pick up the pace in that one, which will make it harder for Ground Zero to score, maybe even the adaptation that they were looking to make. As Torsos getting the bump, Amphis has a solo, but he didn't get the flip. Otherwise, it would have been a goal.
Yeah, Amphis sort of just flopping like a fish. Didn't quite have the boost or the flip, as you said there, but it's an interesting point with Decker. I think that, I'm all about car choice, Jake, and it's interesting seeing Decker, who's known as a dominance player. He switched to the Octane for the major, and also he stayed on it for this, and he looks like he was in a little bit of a rut, I'd say, prior to this, but in the Octane, he's looking really good.
Yeah, no, I think changing cars can be really good for a mentality shift because it can be really easy to get entrenched into some old habits, just do the same thing every day. But changing a car really makes you think about, like, what am I doing and how can I do it better? And like you're saying, it's really helped out Decker. You can see he's really playing well this today.
You see that contrast with Torsos always being on the Dominus. And Jules, for a while, when he was feeling in a rut, did go onto the Dominus himself, but he's gone back to the Octane, and it looks like they're comfortable with that now.
Yeah, that's our little car talk for the day. So, all those car heads in chat that love, all the customization, stuff like that, the car choice, people, the placebo, we'll call it that. We've got that covered. So it's interesting to see the pros taking that on board and perhaps, turning their form around in the form of a little bit of change up in terms of what they're viewing through their monitor. But anyway, we've got a minute 50 left, Jake. We've got a tight ball game here. This could be huge if Cringe Society can get this and wrestle back some momentum in series number 2.
Yeah, it feels like both teams have really stepped up now. We're not seeing silly mistakes from either team. We're seeing the play shift back and forth, but I feel like that really does favor Ground Zero, though. It feels like they're a bit closer to scoring than when I see Cringe Society and Ground Zero's half.
There has been a few moments where I've felt like in that attack that Ground Zero have been a bit too desperate to score a goal, and it's led to very easy clears out for Cringe Society. Oh, the mid-air demo, but it wasn't on target. Express thought that was in, and it was a very good demo, but just not enough in the end. Another demo as well.
Oh my goodness. Another close opportunity, but this is what we love to see from Ground Zero. They're going for these high-risk sort of plays, high-risk, high-reward demo plays in the air, keeping the pressure on. And Amphis, when he's stalking your backboard, there is nothing scarier. You can trust me.
Oh, another miss. Yeah, Amphis isn't going to be happy with that. No one on Ground Zero. I'm sure they're starting to get a bit frustrated at all these misses, these crossbar hits, but you can see it's still favoring them. Cringe Society really stuck in their half with really low boost.
They did manage to get that corner boost, which has done them wonders. In fact, it's done them huge. They're now at the other end. It shows how important the control of that back boost is, but even still, the low boost has meant that they weren't able to continue the attack.
And you talk about the defensive Cringe side as well. It's awesome to see just the way that as soon as Drippay did get that boost, they all exploded upfield. They were all moving up together as a unit, and that sort of counter-attack potential. And just it seems like they're so confident even when they're in the defensive half right now in this game, Cringe side. But having said that, the second left, Torsos gets it off the corner. Express doesn't quite get it. Just a little skim across the pitch. But we have overtime. Jake, who you got in this one?
I got to be favoring Ground Zero. Just so many missed chances.
Oh my.
What is that? Torsos so hyped at getting that one, and just tragedy for Cringe Society. Another crazy kickoff goal.
Two Cringe Society's members walk into a bar. The setup of a joke, and honestly, I can't believe that. That was.
Just OCE, I mean.
The fact that we have had already, you know, it's meant to be a short day. We've only got 2 teams playing. We've got it, you know, potentially 2 or 3 series. We've already had the own goal coming out in pretty much game number 1 from Express of the first series. And now we have the team bump on the line, miscommunication to cost Cringe Society a game. And now they go 2-0 down in the second series.
Yeah.
Gummy, I hate to go the early crow here, but that could just cost them here the second series. That could cost them that sort of momentum and just the mentality. I know you talk about it before. Cringe Society, they don't have a coach. I mean, the miscommunication, they'll be looking at each other going, it was your fault, no, it was your fault. That is a rough thing to come back from.
It was just such an important game too. I was saying at the very beginning how important it is for Cringe Society to get early starts when Ground Zero tend to be at their weakest. And for that to happen, it's got to be devastating, but I think they'll be able to laugh it off and go on to the next game. But if they lose this one, then that overtime will really come to haunt them.
I think it might even be hard to laugh that one off because we're seeing a lot of silly mistakes coming out of Cringe Society. What really won them that first series was just that absolute solidness, but you can see it again. Just they're getting so confused, they're throwing themselves at the ball, and it's not what won them that first series.
Stop it. Oh, Express almost getting the double. Great save from Drip on the line, but he's got 0 boost. This has to be a goal from Tors. He's just got to muscle that one through off the crossbar. Drippay, nothing he could do there in Ground Zero. Well, they're just continuing this momentum in series number 2.
And that's why we believe in Ground Zero on the international stage. That was a backup of 4 or 5 massive plays, including a pre-jump from Amphis that could have been a goal off of Express's first double. And then on his way back, he gets a crazy back pass straight to Torsos in the perfect moment for him to set up the double himself.
You can just see just how high the potential is from Ground Zero. When they're playing their best, they're just so scary for the other team. They're so fun to watch. And, you know, Cringe Society, they're going to have to clean up their act to, stop these chances from happening.
Disappointment there from Jules as well. Just need to get that on target. It's still a good shot, but it's an opportunity here for Ground Zero. Jules will bump out Amphis, so it sends it the other direction. And it's not it. Jules again, just going wide.
Oh, he had an absolute panic. He had a fortnight. He could have just cooked a roast in the time that he had in the air there to put that on target. But instead, he just finds the crossbar, and that is heartbreaking for Cringe Society up against all the odds here in this second series with the team bumps and the plays that have been happening. That's a goal you need, but there's a bump coming out on Amphis. His last back does get the save. That's huge. In Ground Zero, they've got all the numbers back now.
God, everything that was working so well for Cringe Society in that first series is just gone now. Jules not making the most of those opportunities forward, the silly mistakes instead of that rock-solid defense, and Ground Zero the complete opposite. They've woken up, and you can see now they're the ones with the solid defense, not letting Cringe Society get these goals.
And they've been so much more ready for the bumps, able to recover on them. Drippay now with the dribble, but can't get around, still gets it into center, and Jules will tie it up.
Great pass from Drippay. I thought he was just going to hook shot this, but instead he just gets it up on the wall, and just that second touch there where he catches it, sending it across goal. Back post was free. Jules was ready for it. Cringe Society, they get to equalise it. That was a huge goal. They've had their opportunities this game, Jake, but at least they've made the most of that one, and they've tied it up.
That was just beautiful from Drippay. Just such an amazing assist. Like you're saying, CJ, it looked like he was taking the hook shot. At first, it looked like Jules was taking the ball. Just, we've been a bit critical of Ground Zero and their defense, but that was just them getting played.
Oh, Torsos has to get up to that one quick. It does get it out. Hey, when we've seen Cringe Society at their best, it's because Drippe is able to get crazy setups like that one where you just wouldn't expect it. The defense doesn't expect it. The Amphis going for the demos and they're not expecting it. Torsos gets it past the last and Express. He's put it in, but Torsos and Amphis, the offensive duo, comes to the fore.
Torsos seemingly faking the must. He goes underneath, over the top, underneath. He's throwing hurdles over the Cringe Society defense. Great play setting up Express. He just had to bury that one. Ground zero. This is the team we love to see, the solo plays. And Torsos, Jake, the man that we were looking for to step up offensively, show us the individual prowess he's got, beating 2 defenders. That was huge for Ground Zero.
And he does it in such a beautiful...
That was so strong. And it was all because of the setups, all because of the crazy offenses, just like that one.
Yeah, Torsos just beautifully playing to his image as well, just faking low, not doing the flip reset. Everyone thought it. Amphis comes and gets the follow-up himself. Ground Zero playing incredible.
Somebody get this man a drink of what? He's so hot, he's just putting it on the corner, gets the follow-up as well. How do you read that?
And I thought that was in straight away off the first touch, but no one was there from Cringe Society. Amphis, the corner read was spectacular. That deserved to go in on the full, but he still gets the goal anyway. Ground Zero opening up the shoulders here, as we said before. 2-goal lead now. They're looking to move on to series point, and this could be a sweep if they take the next one as well.
I was worried for Ground Zero when it got tied up 1-1. I was thinking, wow, they're playing so well, but they're not sinking their chances. But, you know, they got that lead. But Drippe again showing up big and keeping them in this important game.
Oh, right off the cherry. The timing great. The pre-flip to set it up. And even with 2 players there, neither of them can get up to that ball. All of Ground Zero constantly kind of at that front post, looking to challenge, but Drippe still beating them at the same time.
And they nearly called that shot a doink. So I reckon Stumpy and Cole, shout out to you. They'll be happy with that one. A little bit of a double jump there, but just perfect placement again. Drippe's striking's been phenomenal throughout this whole matchup here against Ground Zero. And I mean, if he can bring out goals like that, that's going to be what they need now. As Torsos almost puts that away. That one's open. Amphis, he extends the lead once more and just keeps Cringe Society at arm's reach here in game number 3.
Guys, so much faking, so much tricky plays coming out of Ground Zero so far forward as well. You can see Amphis is that third man, not caring to push up that far forward and extend that lead. And now with 2 minutes left, 2 goals ahead, Ground Zero surely can hold on to this lead.
A little bit of desperation too from Cringe Society, which is fair when you are that 1 goal behind with only 1 minute remaining, but it has cost them. I need to get a quick goal here, but so far throughout this game, Ground Zero have been really dominant of the possession. Decker can't quite get to that ball. It was a good opportunity, but just a bit too far away.
I mean, you talk about desperation as well, but was it a little bit too early? I mean, a minute is a long time in Rocket League, and to sort of change up the positioning, change up the structure that drastically with a whole minute left was perhaps a little bit too early. It could cost, or it's looking like it will cost Cringe Society any chance of making a comeback here. But full credit to Ground Zero. They were tested there. Great shot coming out from Drippe, drawing them back to 1 goal, but instantly, Jake, taking that back to a 2-goal lead was impressive. And make that a 3-goal lead. Torsos, he secured game number 3 here.
And they're doing it in such a beautiful way now. These aren't silly mistakes coming out of Cringe Society. They're just getting outplayed by fast rotations, good boost management, great passing, and Ground Zero, like I said, a bit of a low-scoring first series, but they're absolutely smashing Cringe Society here.
And you kind of look back to earlier as well, where whenever Ground Zero had a potential shot, they'd go low straight towards the net, and it was so savable. But now you're seeing that they're willing to go for that 1 extra pass, take the ball really high, in that case well above Decker, who was in net, and that's what's going to open up the net for them. That's what's making them more unpredictable, and they may even find the 6. Ground Zero still take it anyway, and they are a match point.
And the look on Torsos' face is he couldn't quite keep that one in the air. He wanted another one. They're angry. They're angry after that first series. They wanted to show the dominance that they've had within the OCE region throughout the entire year. And after that first series, it was looking a bit shaky. They've reset, they've come back, and we did speak about it before. They've had a 7-goal game, a 5-goal game, and off the back of that, we now see a timeout coming from Cringe Society. Jake, what do they do in this situation? They're 3-0 down here, looking at the brink of, going to a 3rd series.
It's so tough. It's just Ground Zero are just absolutely outplaying them. And like I was saying, Cringe Society, they were making plenty of silly mistakes early on in the series, but that game they just got completely outplayed in every aspect. So if I'm Cringe Society, I think you have to punish this confidence coming out of Ground Zero. You have to push your players forward and go for those kind of counterattacks to not make Ground Zero as confident as they are to push forward.
And over at the other end, though, the way that Ground Zero have picked it up, I mean, Torsos has been top scorer and getting MVP in all these games, something that we were looking for him to do. And honestly, he's a comfort player. So it's very likely for Ground Zero, they were looking uncomfortable, Torsos feeling out of rotation. Now that he's in step, it's really up to Cringe Society, in my opinion, to start disrupting that. Bring back those demos that were so successful in Series 1.
I mean, it's an interesting use of the timeout there. It feels like the momentum is just so far into Ground Zero's corner. But if you are Cringe Society, Jake, I want to throw the question to you. I mean, they have that series up their sleeve. Are you sort of looking mentally towards the next series, or are you, because it is such a mental effort to reverse sweep a best of 7. It is so hard. Are you already sort of just thinking maybe we just reset into the next series and not throw the game, but sort of just, have a bit of fun with this one, give them this series, and then really bring the heat into the next one? Or do you just really go, righto guys, buckle in, we're in for the long haul here, we're in for the reverse sweep?
I think that's probably what they're saying. I think Cringe Society are really looking for that reverse sweep, but I'm sure in the back of their heads that they can't help but be almost a bit switched off and just knowing that they have that safety net, just wanting it to get back to even. Because like you're saying, CJ, a best of 7 reverse sweep is just such a gigantic order to make happen.
It's also interesting because both of them obviously would have a long day. That's completely open, but
come on, Jules.
Drippay not able to find Jules. He still gets back to it, and they will get this first goal as they try and mount a reverse sweep.
It could come back to bite Ground Zero here, because this is sort of what we saw when Cringe Society were on match point in the previous series. They had the timeout and they came out really aggressive. Now they've gone the other way. They've been so aggressive. They've got all the goals, but that one's come out to bite them. I mean, that goal was so open there. That is not what you often see from Ground Zero. There's a demo play coming out. Amphis misses, however. He misses the open-ish net. We'll call it clopen. Close to open, Yummy.
Yeah, well, closed and open at the same time. Open, but there is a player back. And that's funnily enough what Torsos and Drippay both would call a net that has one person, but you expect to get it past. It's a clopen net.
Mm-hmm. And look, CJ, I'll throw the question back to you. Let's assume Cringe Society, they're really looking for that reverse sweep. What do they need to bring forward here to make it happen?
I mean, it's one thing to try and stop the Ground Zero, their offense, but it just feels like, I mean, we saw in the first series, they were always sort of doubling or even tripling their shots on net compared to Ground Zero. And now that Ground Zero's offense has stepped up, I nearly want to say they just have to step up the pace a little bit against this side, because they're getting beaten all the time. Chris almost misses, does get the rebound off his own bonnet to put that one away and get the equalizer. But I mean, yeah, as we said, Cringe Society, they have to step up the pace, because Ground Zero, they're bringing the heat, and Express, he is looking, he's no mercy here for Cringe Society in series number 2.
I call that maneuver the classics. Accidentally miss to the side and just happen to be following up and accidentally score a goal. It works out there, but Express did get that good setup to actually make it an opportunity in the first place.
Yeah, again though, Cringe Society a bit slow back, not making it happen. A demo at Sam's, great idea from Drippay, but just not quick enough. But we're seeing those new things, and that's what we really need to see out of Cringe Society if they want to start taking this back.
Really far back here from Express, and he does end up challenging, and there's a bit of a miss from Decker, but it won't cost them just yet. Even still, a good bit of pressure will drain the boost slowly away from Cringe. Jules secures the corner boost as they try and get the game winner potentially, but at the moment it's gone to the other end, and Cringe Society will have a chance of their own, even if they're on low boost.
And I mean, we sort of spoke about it at the start of this matchup where the close games help Ground Zero. But if we look at their track record here, and especially goals coming out late, it's actually been in Cringe Society's favor with the overtimes and the 0-second goals and the goals perhaps in the last 30 or 40 seconds. So perhaps, Jake, Cringe Society, they're feeling pretty confident here if the scores are level towards the end of the game.
Well, like we said before, they are a confident team in those low-scoring kind of affairs. They have a great defense when it's switched on, and you can see they are starting to get back into that flow. So I'm sure that this is where they are the most comfortable, but it's hard to be comfortable at all against the Ground Zero offense.
That being said, the last time they played, Cringe Society lost both overtimes in a 4-game series. So Ground Zero certainly have that overtime, that close match history. If we do manage to get an OT in this one, Torsos looking for the musty. There's too much power. He absolutely slammed that towards Amphis.
I mean, there is no way Amphis is possibly pre-jumping that. That was an absolute slinger. That, as I think a lot would call that. It's not a bang. It's a slinger. That was huge there. That was a massive musty. So I don't think Amphis, you can't blame Amphis too much of your toss because that was huge. But it's great to see the Ground Zero going for these sort of plays. We saw it a little bit in the first series, but now we're starting to see these musty passes, the pre-jumps, the air dribbles, Jake, and that's when they're at their best.
No, it's great confidence. And what I'm especially impressed at is it's in a 1-1 game. It's when, they can't really afford to make a big mistake, but we put the spotlight on Torsos. We said he wasn't really showing up, but you can see now that the pressure's on, he is. But this looks like it might be a counter-attack, and that's what Cringe Society needs to punish this confident Ground Zero.
Such a good dunk from Drippe. He recovers well, gets over the top of Amphis, which is the surprising part. If Amphis had maybe jumped while he was over the top, he could have saved it. But Drippe counter-attack, and now Cringe Society maybe in with a chance.
Yeah, it just looked like Torse got a little bit too aggressive there coming in Furman on the shot. Usually you sort of see him take that to the wall for the solo play, but perhaps not quite respecting Drip's ability to block that save. That's a huge whiff coming out from Jules in the dying moments here when Cringe Society need everything. That is not what you want to see. Just got caught under it, not expecting the power, and Express buries that one bottom right, equalising game number 4.
God, you can see how disappointed Cringe Society are. Just silence all on their cameras. It's got to be brutal there for Jules. He's really got to be feeling the pressure. And after such a good first series, I'm hoping he can bring it back mentally, because those kind of mistakes are really tough to recover from.
Not for Jules. He always has a moment like that in a series. The Jules question mark, the where's Jules going moments. I don't know why, but it's always Jules that has a spot like that, and he's always bouncing back nice and quickly. In fact, there's been times where he's carried despite having moments like that.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. It's just, it's obviously not a goal you want. And I was just going to speak about it. Drip, he got that goal with 55 seconds left, and it sort of proved my theory again throughout this matchup where Cringe Society, they're just getting the goals at the last second. It might happen again here with 1 second left. Drip, he's got 100 boosts. He's going to take it off the wall. Decker's waiting inboard. Drip's got the air dribble. The pumps come out. Drip, catch it, get it, he can! Another 0-second goal. Cringe Society stay alive in series number 2.
And Drippe just using that boost beautifully, sets it up for himself off the wall, outplays 2 defenders, and Decker trusting the whole way to make it happen. And Ground Zero, they're going to be kicking themselves for that one.
Crazy how close Decker was playing. He was so ready for that. And Drippe able to pancake that against the crossbar. 6-6-6. He's been a real devil throughout this series. Drippe, if he's playing well, we can see how impactful it is to Cringe Society.
It's just sometimes it's your day, and even with Jules just sort of seemingly gifting Cringe Ground Zero, should I say, the equalising goal, an opportunity to take out this series in a sweep. It was Cringe Society again with another 0-second goal. These guys are looking clutch today, Jake, and it's exciting to see, because that's what you need against Ground Zero. You need these big moments, these goals where the scores are level, everything's on the line. And as soon as I saw Drip grab that 100 boost in the form that he's in today, I mean, you just knew something was going to happen, Jake.
Yeah, no, we hyped up Drippe at the start, and that's why just the impact he has on games is just so incredible when he can push forward, make that happen. I'm loving the new ball touches stat, because you can see Drippe doubling almost everyone on the pitch and really making those plays happen for himself.
And he's a major part of the team putting pressure on the ball when he goes forward. It seems that they have found that recipe. And if you remember back to that first game where there was a giant mistake from Cringe Society in front of net, well, it doesn't seem to have bothered them so far. And Decker using the defender to score.
I mean, we spoke about do you just, go next series after you go 3-0 down? Well, Decker says absolutely not. And Cringe Society, they are forging a path here in series number 2, a path towards a potential reverse sweep. Great opening goal there. Jake, they're starting to look good. They're starting to heat up. I'm feeling something in the air.
They're starting to look good, CJ. Decker pushing forward. He had a strong first series. It seems like Cringe Society are struggling to have all 3 players really popping off, but if they could, they really do have the potential to match Ground Zero with both teams playing their best.
Ooh, close one there as well as Amphis just unable to beat the defender Torsos. He did have Decker behind him as well. The thing that I've noticed is that Ground Zero double committing a lot more in this series, both to their improvement and their detriment. It seems that they're less concerned with playing as tight as they possibly can, but it has been what's cost them a couple of goals in the last game.
Looking a little bit shaky indeed, or perhaps I think the double commits, it's less nerves, Yummy. I think it's more frustration, and the fact that they have been so dominant. We talk about the record against the team of Cringe Society, just pummeling them sort of in every series that counts. And now on the day where, this is the day where everything matters in Cringe Society, they're stepping up. So you're sort of seeing the double commits out of Ground Zero, because I just think they're thinking we should be beating this team. We should be beating them comfortably. But Cringe Society, they're having none of that.
Yeah, Cringe Society, they're really, not getting disheartened by going 3-0 down in the series, really making the fight happen. And Ground Zero, honestly, they're not looking too worried just yet. You can see they're still pushing really far forward, but you can really feel the momentum shift in this series.
They're not going to be too concerned after, the last game, it was a 0-second goal decider. Obviously, they're not going to be happy, but they'll be very confident and comfortable. In fact, they are a confidence-based team. They're always very confident that they can get a win, and that's why they have been able to make a lot of late series comebacks.
And you say they shouldn't be worried, Yummy, but that's the second time it's happened today where they've had a 0-second goal. So Jake, I sort of want to throw it to you. Is this a sort of like a structural thing that they're breaking down, or is it just the fact that Cringe Society are looking really clutch today?
Honestly, I think Cringe Society are just awesome when they push players forward. They do like to play that defensive style, really careful, but like the firepower on this team when they do push forward, you see it in those moments when they have to pull it out, and it's a bit too much for Ground Zero to handle, especially in the surprising way it tends to just explode out of nowhere.
Well, it's also felt to me like Cringe Society have gotten...
Oh, no.
No, I was about to say gotten more clutch, but they can get less clutch than that defense.
Oh, Torsos so confused that he somehow scored that. Honestly, Torsos has been passing that most of today, so maybe confusing them, but Decker can't be happy, and you can kind of see it on his face as well.
We talk about clutch in offense, but it's sort of been the opposite for Cringe Society in defense today. That was another opportunity where I believe Jules would have had the save. However, they sort of just bumped each other and fumbled it on the goal line and didn't sort of change the momentum of the ball there, just taking it all the way. Tor's probably surprised at the shot. It was a great opportunity. There's a great pass play. Drippe was watching the back post, but that is sort of the Ground Zero special. Jake, that's pitched in off the sidewall. Express gets the go-ahead goal here. Unbelievable.
Oh, that's not what you want if you're Cringe Society. Just off the 50. But again, no one ready. No one ready to back up that play. And Ground Zero feels like they might run away with this now that the lead has just been taken out of Cringe Society so suddenly.
Always that dangerous moment as you go around the corner and you can't really jump out to get that extra depth that sticks you to the wall sometimes, and that's what happened there. No one really expecting it. And we go back to how Cringe Society have become more clutch. Remember, they lost Game 7 against Riot in the Winter Major. They lost a Game 7 against Mind Freak that put them behind on the points in the Spring Split. And then finally, when they go up against Renegades in that semi-final, I'm sure you remember this one, CJ, they win in Game 7, and they've had a couple of Game 7 wins now. They've shown that they have worked on that, and I think that might be to a huge advantage here, that they have had that struggle throughout the season and been able to specifically improve on that factor.
Yeah, look, thanks, Yummy, for bringing it up again. No, they were huge there in game number 7. They've certainly got the clutch factor. You look at plays like Drip A, just really step up in that situation. He's got the experience, and this is where we're looking, though, Jake. This is where we're looking. The 50 seconds left, the 30 seconds left for Cringe Society. They need the equaliser, and they've shown it before. They've had 2 0-second goals. They've had a couple of other goals in the final minute. This is where they step up the offense, and they can catch teams out. Here it is. Here could be the goal. Decker can't quite get it. Drip A almost off the corner there. That could have been perfectly on cue.
God, you can see Cringe Society, they are pushing forward, and it's really up to Ground Zero. They kind of dropped the ball there, but with 20 seconds remaining, Cringe Society, they will have another chance.
They're able to put so much pressure when it's coming down to these 0-second marks that they're causing double commits out from Ground Zero. But Amphis, he just goes for the cut. He turns around, surprises all of them, and that may be enough for Ground Zero to hold on. They're not going to be in defense. They're not going to be pressured at that 0-second marker, and that's a great 50 by Express that will allow them to even score a goal. And there we go. Ground Zero takes series number 2.
Huge game coming out there from Ground Zero. It's just a little bit of an unfortunate ending there. Amphis just putting a nail in the coffin, nailing the nail on the head, Yummy, as we like to say there. Just putting that one away. And Ground Zero, that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we were expecting from that team. Now, Jake, we have a 1-1 series. Of course, no matter what you expect the 2-0 sweep, you expect the 4-0, 4-0, but this is what happens on these big days. We see the series number 3. We could see this one going to game 7 as well, but it's all in Cringe Society's court again because Ground Zero, they've shown up.
Yeah, and knowing both teams, I'm expecting this final series to be the best one yet. You can see how hyped Ground Zero is, especially Torsos after that winning goal. Cringe Society getting a bit steamrolled there, but, maybe that complacency, maybe the same kind of thing that happened to Ground Zero, just a little bit of overconfidence in the back of their mind, but there'll be no excuses going into this final series.
Oh, man, I remember Torsos having tears of joy after winning the Winter Major. A little bit less effervescent when it came to the spring one, since they'd already qualified as the number 1 seed. But if they win this one, even though it's not Worlds and it's not the huge LAN event that they were hoping for and dreaming of, you will still see Torsos have that pop-off moment. You see it come out from all of them, just how much it means to Ground Zero. And honestly, it means so much to all of these guys. A lot of prize money on the line and only one series to decide it. Let's watch that best of 7 straight after this break.